this is Debbie from Kids Around Dogs. It's very hot right now in the UK, so it's important to consider the heat for kids, especially neurodivergent children and dogs. Neurodivergent children feel the heat differently from neurotypical children. This is obviously a generalization, but most of the time is the case. The first part is about sensory processing. Clothes feel sticky, your body sweats, the air feels heavy, the sun might be too bright in their eyes, and just the warm air feels kind of smothering. So it's not a pleasant experience. What it might feel warm to neurotypical children, it's actually an awful experience for neurodivergent children. Neurodivergent children might feel their body differently. They might not realize that they are too hot. They might not realize they're thirsty. They might not understand they need a break, maybe because they are just even having a good time and they kind of almost forget themselves. Feelings and behavior of the children are the first signals for you to know that something is up. And when it's so hot, be mindful that the heat, that kind of heat, can be the reason why they act differently. It's quite tricky for neurodivergent kids to regulate their body temperature, so we need to be mindful of that. They might heat up faster. They sweat differently. Some kids don't even sweat at all. Some sweat more, but they just might be different. And they might take longer to cool down. All this makes a hot day even more tiring than just normal day. Executive functioning become challenging in the sense that they might forget to even drink. They don't realize they're thirsty, so they might forget to drink, which is extremely important when it's very hot. To stay hydrated is one of the things that anyone will always tell you, and it's true. They might be wearing a hat, and that might also make them quite hot, or they might not want to wear a hat. They might protect them from the sun, so you'll have kind of a bit of a problem there. But you could maybe get them to choose different hats and make sure that there is one that they particularly like. Be mindful as well, if there is one that they particularly like, they might just want to wear that one forever. So you might want to buy a few. However, you could also come home after the purchase of this perfect hat, and they will never wear it again. Sun cream is really important. Make sure they have it, and that should be for anyone really. Adult kids, neurotypical, neurodivergent, doesn't really matter. The sun is not pure, so we need to make sure that we're covered from that. Finding shade and finding time to rest is something that could also sometimes be forgotten when maybe they are having a good time with their friends, or maybe when they're doing something else and they're just not reminded that those things are important to do. During the hot weather, routine might change. For instance, school may allow more of a loose policy in the uniform. Some schools allow, for instance, to wear the PE kit. So that is a change in their routine, which can make things more difficult. Similarly, you as a parent might decide that they should not be in a school environment when it's this hot, which is completely fine. Or maybe they're already homeschooled or home educated. So in that respect, maybe you think, oh, it's a nice day, we could go out somewhere, and that is a change in their routine. Try to keep the routine going. If they are not home educated and they will be in the school environment, see what the policy is like in this weather. Some schools are not very accepting of hot weather. They might not understand that your child need is different from other kids. So enforce the understanding that your child needs different attention. If that's not given, as I know very well, often it's not, then feel free to keep your child at home. I'm not obviously, in the position of allowing such things, in the sense that the school would definitely have a problem with that. But what I strongly believe is that you should advocate for your children. So do what you think is best for them. Be mindful though as well that in the summer or when the weather is nice, people tend to go out, so it be crowded or more crowded outside. This can create problem with their sensory processing, but also in general just can be a bit too overwhelming. So be mindful of that part. Funny enough, many neurodivergent kids might be around with their hoodie in like 40 degrees weather, but this is not because they're being, moody or whatever. It's not a fashion trend. But first of all, remember when I mentioned before that it's difficult for them to control or understand that they feel hot. So they might just go, I'm all right wearing my hoodie, but they're actually, their body is still overeating. The other thing is that they might be used to having their hoodie. They might be used to their blanket and or their long sleeves top, whatever they like normally to wear. So suddenly wearing a t-shirt or wearing shorts or not having their head covered, all these kind of things are physically differences to what they are used to. And not only, again, is a change in routine, which they might not like, but it might almost make them feel like naked. So be mindful that this can apply. I would say that if they're desperate to wear their hoodie or have their blankets, whatever it is that they really, really want to have, then have an extra fan on them. If they like it, they can also wear one of those neck fans to give them some fresh air with their hoodie on. Again, they need to like these kind of things because even the fresh air might not be that enjoyable to them, especially that close. So maybe have like a bigger fan in the room. Some people have aircon. I know that the mentality is a bit like, oh, in England we get like 2 weeks of summer, so having aircon by an aircon is a bit pointless for so little, but it's up to you really. In general, though, heat reduces everyone's tolerance. Whether your child is neurotypical, neurodivergent, whether you are a parent, a carer, an adult, a teenager, it doesn't really matter. When it's very, very hot, we all get a little bit more of a short fuse. So be kind to them and to yourself and to others as well. Please be mindful that everyone is suffering the heat. And if you can't say anything kind, then just don't say anything at all and walk away. Dogs suffer the heat, and that is a thing. They're covered in fur, and especially if they live in England, they're not used to this kind of weather. And so when it's very, very hot, they suffer more. There are things that for dogs we need to be mindful of. Again, sensory differences. When they walk on hot pavement, their paws will touch the ground right away. So if it's hot, it can be really painful to their paws, so much so that they burn them. The sunlight, again, can be too bright to their eyes, on their fur. Their fur can get really hot as well, especially in dark dogs. So we need to be careful of that. The warm air feels heavy. And sometimes we also put outfits on our dogs, don't we? Even if it's their harness or their collar, whatever it is they're wearing. Remember, we always advocate harnesses more than anything else. But even the harness, their normal harness, can just feel a bit more uncomfortable today because it's hot and they don't want to wear anything. They want to be naked. But if they're out, they would have to wear the harness. Therefore, that might be uncomfortable. Even things like those kind of cool vest or a wet t-shirt and things like this that are helping for sure on cooling down. The problem with that, they might not be used to it, so they might not like it. They might not like the feeling of having that on. So not only is still hot, but now they're annoyed with the outfit that you put on them. Some people put some like paw protection, like some socks or shoes to protect from the hot pavement. Again, this is something the dog might be not used to, and unless it's for medical reasons, say they just had an operation or something and the vet says they need to have that on for protection, then avoid putting it on, especially for the first time when it's this hot, because they really won't like it. Their body will give them signals that they will listen to, more so possibly than humans. So they will feel too hot, they will feel like they need a break, they will feel like they're thirsty, and they will feel overheated. Similarly, though, they might not feel all those things. If they are having a good time with their other doggy mates or having a cuddles with you and they love you so much, they might forget all those things. So try to remind them to drink, make sure their water is always fresh. Make sure that maybe you can flavor the water even with some broth. You can put some treats in the water to get them to find the treat and then drink your water at the same time. If you do that though, make sure the water is not too high or they'll put their nose for too long time in the water, too much longer in the water. So be mindful of that. Have a paddling pool out in the garden or the patio, wherever it is that you live, a balcony maybe, and they might drink from it as well, just because it's there, or they might choose to go in, depends on the dog really, and freshen up themselves. But touch the water as well. If the water is sitting in the sun, it's obviously going to get hot, so be careful of that. Again, he's hot and we change our routine because maybe we have the patio open all day, maybe we want to go out, maybe we have friends over for picnics or barbecues and things like this, or maybe the kids want to go to the park after school because the sun is out and it's beautiful, or the beach, wherever you live. And so that could be a change on routine on the dog. They might not be expecting that, they might not be used to something like this, or any other change that you may have. So be mindful of that. But what I would highly recommend, and please do think about that, is when it's this hot, do not take your dog out. Don't take them to the beach, don't take them to the park, don't, even if you think, oh, there are shaded area, yes, that's better, especially maybe by a lake or something if you live in a forest, for example, but it's still quite hot. So please, it's just for a few days. Keep him home, keep him enriched with some fun activities that they can do indoors. When it's extremely hot, the kids also should not be outside because it can be too hot, it can give them some health issues. So add them in and do activities indoors. Patio can be open and the kids can come in and out as such, the dog too, but be mindful of that. Some dogs love to sit in the sun. My own dog would sit in the sun for hours on end, but I do call her back in because she likes it. So, but at the same time, she can overeat without kind of realizing. So I need to make sure that I call her in. She does forget herself. When life is so beautiful, they do forget themselves. Heat can also lower tolerance in dogs. So the things they would appreciate or tolerate more when the weather is nice and cool, they might not do so when it's very hot. So if the kids are particularly, let's say, over enthusiastic around the dogs, maybe generally the dog is fine with it, but when it's very hot, he might think, oh, I can't stand this anymore. So if the dog moves away, takes himself in a different place, and shows body language that tells you, oh, he's not too happy with it, be mindful. Have him staying in a cooler place of the house. Again, have the fan on, aircon if you have it, whatever. Give them something to keep them amused, like a Kong, a West Pose, a Rolo, a different kind of enrichment toys would do. Make sure that those enrichment toys are something the dog knows already, that you know he's safe with, so that you can leave the dog be on his own, doing his thing, while you amuse the children and keep them away from annoying the dog. As a general rule, whether it's dogs or neurodivergent kids, make sure they stay hydrated, plenty of water everywhere, fancy bottles for the kids, especially if they sometimes struggle with drinking. They can drink some squash maybe instead of just water, although obviously water is always the best. For dogs, again, water would be always the best choice, but you can add the product to the water to make it a bit more enticing. Active Plus is an Irish company that makes these drinks. They have different minerals and nutrients, and you can add that to the water. Is a brilliant solution there. For Boost is also a brilliant solution, just to add to the water. It's like broth kind of thing, has different flavors, and that can entice the dog to drink a bit more. For the dogs, you can use cooling pads. Make sure they're not the ones with the gel in it because it's toxic gel, so that could be dangerous for dogs. There are some lovely cooling mats out there. And I would say as well, those cooling mats are great for kids too. Although they are mostly sold for pets, I'd say they're really comfortable for children as well. So it could be an idea to purchase one for the kids and give it a try. Create a cool space for the dog, create a cool space for the kids, a sensory friendly space as well. Have some of their fidget toys in there. For the dogs, have some enrichment toys in there. Get the kids to help you to create a lovely, friendly, and cool place for the dogs with some enrichment toys, with some of their normal toys, with shall we have the fan in there, shall we have the aircon, see what options you have. But get the kids involved with that. Adjust your walk for the dogs, so earlier mornings or later in the evening when it's cooler, it's best to walk the dog during those times. Be mindful of your dog behavior. You probably know your dog better than anyone else, so have a look at the body language. Does it seem to be a bit different than usual? Be mindful of all those things. If you see some pacing, if you see some panting, maybe some whining, a bit more irritable than usual, if he's lethargic, maybe he's destroying things or more than usual, or if he's looking for more comfort from you or other humans or even other pets in the house, those might all be signals that the dog is hot, basically. Hopefully it's nothing to worry about. If you do think that your dog is unwell though, make sure you call the vet and ask them for advice on what to do. They will ask questions to make sure that the dog is just a little bit hot, or there might be something else. They will know what to ask, and whatever you answer, they will know how to help you. So in case you doubt yourself, don't take any chances, call the vet. I hope this helps your neurodivergent kids and your dogs to have a fantastic summer and really enjoy this beautiful weather, because it is nice to see the sun even though it's scorching hot. Bye! And kids around dogs.